you think is the biggest issue in America today?
Coronavirus.
Unemployment.
Police discrimination.
Coronavirus.
Racism.
Respecting diversity.
Police brutality.
Racism.
The lack of transparency.
COVID-19. Climate change.
Race equality.
Homophobia.
2020 has been one of the most eventful years in recent human history, with COVID-19 changing the world, a lack of acceptance for homosexuals and people of color, and most of all, the biggest human rights movement in history that has divided our nation. However, the reason not many people answered climate change is that it is an issue without immediate consequences. It is an issue that doesn't affect many citizens' daily lives. But if Joe Biden and the new Congress don't do something about climate change soon, our climate may be destroyed past the point of no return. Climate change has been caused mostly by human activities such as the burning of fossil fuels, resulting in the greenhouse effect. This is the process in which carbon gets stuck in the atmosphere and prevents the sun's rays leaving. Heat is kept in the atmosphere, heating up the earth.
Some of the camps that I have worked on, which are on the ice cap in Greenland, when I first started working there, the ice was hard and packed, and we were up at 10,000 feet. And now when you go up there, at the same time of year, the ice is soft and mushy, and some places you'll sink right up to your knees. And when you fly out, and when I fly out, you look out the window and you can see the rivers of water of melt coming off that ice sheet. And it's real, and that's been a change I've seen in my life, and it's been pretty drastic.
Burning fossil fuels also damages the ozone layer, which protects Earth from sun's UV rays. Decades of polluting the atmosphere with harmful chemicals has put holes in the ozone, causing changes in the stratosphere that affect rainfall and tropical circulation at the equator.
You have a fossil fuel industry that has lied and lied and lied about the dangers of climate change. ExxonMobil knew this decades ago, what was going on, and they lied about it.
Climate change has also been disrupting agriculture, with things like extended droughts and more heavy rainstorms that damage crops. This issue is projected to become progressively worse throughout the 21st century. Naturally, this would diminish America's food supply, which is currently one of the most secure in the world. The surface and groundwater supplies are becoming progressively more stressed, and water quality is diminishing in many areas due to the increasing sediment and containment concentrations after heavy downpours.
In 2010, we had the flood of record for many gauges across eastern Massachusetts. We had a number of emergency issues, flooding related to that flooding in March of 2010. This summer, we've had a severe drought, and it was the second time in just 4 years that we've had a really severe drought. What the climate models tell us is that we're going to have more extreme flooding. And we've been seeing rain occurring in fewer events, more intense events, and we've also been seeing droughts. We need to think differently about the availability of our water resources.
However, many would argue the oceans have borne the brunt of global warming the most, with global sea levels having increased about 24 centimeters since 1880. Roughly one-third of that has occurred in the past 25 years alone. Rising sea levels are caused by the meltwater of glaciers and ice sheets and the thermal expansion of seawater as it warms.
The oceans have borne the brunt of a lot of the warming that has already happened. So this summer, we had a marine heat wave in the Gulf of Maine. And the Gulf of Maine, the waters off of central and northern New England are warming faster than 99% of waters on the planet. And we're seeing huge changes in the fish communities that are occurring off our coast. We will see continual changes, particularly as the ice caps melt. We're seeing shifts in currents, which affects our weather.
This melting is caused in part by the heating of the atmosphere and seawater. These rising sea levels are threatening many coastal towns across America. As a result of climate change, those beach towns are slowly being washed away. Even with decades of professional research backing it up, 4 out of 10 Americans aren't convinced that climate change is a threat to mankind. Some people, specifically politicians, might downplay or deny climate change in exchange for donations from the fossil fuel or other industries.
The reason why you see more conservatives being skeptics
is because the so-called prescriptions that are being advocated for the alleged global warming crisis, they involve big government. They involve giving more money and power to government, to infringing upon people's rights to choose their electricity sources, etc.
Others simply do not believe that global warming is as big of a threat as it's made out to be, thinking climate change is a future threat that doesn't need to be dealt with right now. This is because it's not a highly talked about subject, with only 4 out of 10 Americans saying they discuss climate change with family or friends, according to theclimatechat.org. Climate change is the biggest issue that the new president and Congress should tackle in the coming years. It is not a problem that will be going away anytime soon. Many scientists believe that our planet will be beyond saving by the year 2050, and America releases the second most carbon emissions out of any country. If our country decides to take a stand against climate change, it may inspire other countries to do the same. Naturally, these changes will affect the way that we live, but they are necessary to save our planet.